Welcome to Understand the Math. If you're looking for a simple step-by-step way to find the distance between 2 points, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 example problems, breaking them down so that you can see exactly how the distance formula works. Whether you're learning this for the first time or reviewing for a test, you'll leave with a clear understanding and confidence to solve these problems on your own. Let's dive into our first example and see how this works. In this example, we're going to find the distance between the point 2,1 and the point 4,5. This length is the distance between those 2 points. The distance between these 2 points can be calculated using the distance formula, which is derived from the Pythagorean Theorem. Let's see how this works for this example. We'll begin by calculating the lengths of the 2 legs of this triangle. To calculate these 2 lengths, we're going to have to make a note that this point here is equal to 4,1. The length of our right leg, the one that I highlighted in pink, is equal to 5 minus 1. Let's write that down. 5 minus 1, which is 4. Let's now calculate the length of the bottom leg, which I highlighted in blue. This length is equal to 4 minus 2, which is equal to 2. The Pythagorean theorem tells us that the hypotenuse squared, which is d squared, is equal to the sum of each leg squared, and this is going to be 2 squared plus 4 squared. So we have d squared is equal to 4 plus 16, which gives us d squared is equal to 20. D is then the square root of 20. The square root of 20 is then the distance between our 2 given points. Let's now see how we can make this easier by using the distance formula now that we understand what's going on. The distance formula tells us that the distance d between 2 points, x1, y1, which we'll label in our graph above, x1, y1, and then our second point, x2, y2, which we'll also label in our graph above. D is going to be the square root of the length of our first leg up above, x2 minus x1. This is x2 minus x1. And then the length of our second leg squared, which is y2 minus y1 squared, and this is y2 minus y1. Let's now use this formula to find the distance between the 2 points listed here in example 2. Let's begin by labeling our first point x1, y1, and our second point x2, y2. Let's now write down our distance formula. Our distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Now we can just go ahead and plug in. Our d is the square root of x2, which is 6, minus x1 is 2, that squared, plus y2, which is 1, minus y1. Now here we have to be careful because y1 is negative, so we have a minus 5, and that all gets squared. Now we go ahead and simplify what's inside. We have 6 minus 2, which is 4 squared. And then we have 1 minus a negative 5, which is 1 plus 5 squared. And this gives us d is the square root of 4 squared, which is 16, plus this number is 6 squared, which is 36. 16 plus 36 is 52, so the distance between our 2 points is the square root of 52. Let's do one more example with points that have a few negative values in them. You may want to pause the video and see if you can complete this problem on your own. We'll begin by labeling our points. Our first point is x1, y1, and then our second point is x2, y2. We'll write down the formula for our distance between the 2 points. It's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I think you'll find that if you write the formula every time you do a problem, you'll be able to memorize the formula easier. Our distance is then the square root of x2, which is a minus 1, minus x1, so we have a minus 8. A lot of negatives go on there. That gets squared. And then we have y2, which is minus 6, minus y1, which is 4. And we always need to remember to square each of those terms. Our distance is then the square root of, let's see here, minus 1 minus a negative 8 is minus 1 plus 8, quantity squared. And then we have a minus 10 squared for our second term. We'll simplify our first term again. We have a minus 1 plus 8, which is a 7 squared. And then we'll go ahead and minus 10 squared is just going to be 100. Our distance is then the square root of 7 squared, which is 49, plus 100 is 149. The distance between our 2 points is then just equal to the square root of 149. And that's it. Now you know exactly how to find the distance between 2 points using the distance formula. If you followed along and understood at least one example, you're already making great progress. The best way to solidify your understanding is to practice. So try a few problems on your own and see how it goes.
If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Keep believing in yourself and have a great rest of your day.